A brief encounter with a Class 31 and a clock? Intrigued? Or have you already worked it out? If not, stick around and watch this tricky journey unfold. And hello, good morning everybody. Yes, I say good morning because it's 3:45 in the morning in June, because we are going to be driving this mail service from Preston to Carnforth, and it's timetabled as the 1M43 Huddersfield to Worthington. So we're going to be doing it in this beautiful looking Class 31. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Okay, so let's get started in here. Get this door closed. Get our switches sorted out. No, we don't need that tail light. Route indicator on. Tail light off. Cab off. Engine room light off. Don't need that. Changeover lever for the AWS. And we got the AWS isolation. Good God, do you know, out of all of the AWS alarms, that has to be the worst, most loudest. Right, so seat. Let's get this seat a little bit lower, shall we? Because it is a bit high in here. Get our master switch on. Let's give it a bit of loco brake, because we are on a hill here. We've got a hill start. Let's get a reverser into forward. Let's release the brake. And let's get our instrumental. Well, I don't think it's instrumental, but we got an instrument light. I don't know what instruments it plays, but sorry, my jokes are not very good, but anyway, we got a little bit more of an illuminated desk here now. So I think we've got everything ready to go. We've just been given the green light. So let's get our throttle on by 1 notch. Take our loco brake off. Just make sure our brakes are definitely fully released, and we can start moving this diesel along. Right, so let's give it a little bit more throttle, shall we? Now I'm going to be honest, maybe it's down to the fact that I haven't really driven Class 31 very often. It's just happened to be that way. There just hasn't really been many opportunities for me to really have a reason to drive it. But whenever I have driven it, I've got to say it's not been the most enjoyable of experiences. I find it a very sensitive train to drive. I don't mean it's an emotional train of any kind. If anyone's emotional, it's me. But it seems to be very sensitive to its response to the adjustments you make to the controls. And so therefore it's not really my top class diesels. Right, so on the left here we've got the Class 08 on its morning's duties. We've got quite a few Pacers parked up there, ready for their morning duties, or getting ready. We're coming up to this 80 mile an hour zone, and so we can start picking up some speed here now. So let's get this throttle down, so we've got the throttle right down now. So let's just have a quick nosy outside. We've got quite a bit of thrash going at the moment, which is the throttle, and the clag is what you can see there is the smoke. So smoke is clag, and lots of throttle is thrash. And I know this because of one of my followers, who I hope doesn't mind being named, called Ken Daly. I hope I'm saying your name properly. Apologise if big apologies if I'm not pronouncing your name properly, but Ken Daly, because I was asking in one of my previous videos, I think it was on a Class 37 video, part 2 of hauling cement tanks to Carlisle. I think I might have mentioned about what the difference is between when people mention clag or thrash. So the thrash is the throttle, and the clag is the dirty smoke. So he kindly explained that for me, because as most of you will know, I'm relatively new to Train Sim World, and I'm still learning about the terminology used for various, because there's quite a few, I can't think of the word now, can't think of the word I want to use to explain, but basically you have sort of, in the industry, in any kind of industry, you'll have certain words to explain certain things. Like, for example, the pacer is known as the nodding donkey, isn't it? And the Class 37 is often known as the tractor, because it makes like a tractor noise. And so you've got all these sort of what am I rambling on about? But all these kind of gimmicky names and for different things within the industry, or within a industry, like any industry. So our top speed, we can go up to 90 in the Class 31. And so as for the exterior aesthetics of the Class 31, if we just have a quick look outside, they're quite impressive. And as you can see here, there's the at the front we can see the remnants of a blocked off doorway, and you can see here it's blocked off. So when these trains were originally built, like what has happened with many of the diesels, these doorways eventually got blocked off when they were refurbished, and with it being done in the Class 31, nothing else has really been placed there to kind of make up its space, really. I suppose they could have at least turned it into a cupboard, although there's hints of some kind of like heaters here, or air vents maybe. I'm not quite sure what they are, I'm just guessing. Maybe someone in the comments can tell me. So yeah, it looks very bland and open and empty. It hasn't got that full steampunk feel like the Class 40 and the 37. So we've just hit our just going to take the throttle completely off here. We've just hit the maximum speed limit for Class 31. Yeah, so I was curious to know, because it's not as so obvious as it is in the other interiors of the other diesels. There is a couple of interesting YouTube videos on the Class 31 if you want to know a little bit more about their history, why they were built, how long they were used for. I think the last ones which were used in service were used as test trains up until about 2018. I think their duties as freight and passengers were used up until, a few of them were still used up until the year 2000-ish, around that time, but I think they started to disappear as a common sighted train up on the railways during the 90s, or later 90s anyway. So even though it's got a boxy feel, yeah, even though it's got this boxy feel, I still quite like the look of it. But I don't like driving it. And for now, for the benefit of doubt, I'm going to just put that down to the fact that I've not had enough experience at driving it to feel fully confident with its capabilities, or rather its little quirks. We're just going through a one of the zones here. I was going to call it a death zone. One of the neutral zones. Yeah, so not that that matters in a diesel. Let's not go there. Anyway, I've lost my trail of thought now. Yeah, so I don't think I've had enough experience at driving this on a regular basis to understand its quirks. Well, one of the first things that's quite noticeable if you're used to driving like Class 47 and 37 is it takes a while to release the brakes on here, and I have been finding it difficult to judge the braking on it, because as you know, in these old diesels, when you apply the brake, once you start to release the brake again, the train is still continuing to slow down before it resets itself, and that is quite difficult to judge. I mean, it's difficult enough to judge slowing a train down to stop at a station on its mark, so having to deal with not quite fully feeling the aesthetic, the quirks of the brakes makes it even more difficult. And just to add to things, at Lancaster here, when you come into Lancaster from the Preston direction, we're facing downhill, we're on a descent, and that makes stopping at Lancaster a little bit more tricky. So, yeah, I've just not had enough practice at operating this train. Where I found the learning curve a lot more easier in the Class 37 and the 47, even the Class 20. I mean, the Class 08, the shunters, dead easy. We're coming up to a light here, and that was green, so that's fine. A little bit late now anyway, innit? So, we're driving, I think it must be June. I don't remember setting it at June, but I would have done anyway through choice, because otherwise it would have been dark and we would not have been able to have seen much. And as you notice, we're carrying parcels, and the Class 31 was well known for being one of its regular duties. It was used as a parcel carrier or newspaper carrier, and so this is a realistic, well, I believe Just Trains did use a very realistic timetable when putting the timetable together, which is based on its weekday journeys rather than on the Blackpool branches, which their timetable was based on a weekend timetable. So what are your thoughts on the Class 31? Does anybody else find any problems with it, or did they find problems learning to drive it initially when they first jumped into it? We're all different at the end of the day. I know some people really enjoy it. It's, you know, when I'm feeling confident with it, it does feel nice to drive, and I think with more confidence and practice, I think it can be quite a rewarding drive. But at the moment, I'm not its biggest fan. To be honest, I'd rather drive the Class 101 over driving this at my present moment in time or experience with it. So we got just under 5 miles before arriving. We don't seem to have the sun rising over the on the horizon yet, but we do have some hints of the sun shining onto the track ahead of us here, which is quite nice. Let's just have a look outside. Oh, we can just see the sun. It was just creeping over. Yeah, it's just creeping through. And it's shining on the cab, so that's a nice, beautiful shot there. Well, was. Hiding behind the embankment now. So we need to keep an eye on these signals now, because as you know, well, some of you know, have been watching regularly, that I used to drive in my videos with the signal indications switched on my upper right hood, but I've been recently, right, we've got a yellow flashing here. Just switch our AWS off and knock off the, I've just knocked off the throttle here, and we need to start applying some brake. So I've just done a double application of brake, about 30%. We've got 2 miles before we get into the station. Got another yellow here. We want to bring the speed down a little bit more, but I don't want to lose too much speed. This is what I mean. This is the bit I find difficult to make judgment with, because if you have a look at the needle here, look how long. I mean, look, it's just stuck there now. It's not even moving back. It takes forever to reset. You know, so really I can't even... Well, I can apply some throttle, but I don't think it's the done thing. So we're down to 48, but I'm still not happy with that. I think we need to bring her down a little bit more, because we have got a light which is potentially a red, and so I need to bring the speed down further. And I think I've just gone a little bit overboard there. No, I think I'm quite happy with that. About 30-ish. Thing is, we can't see, but God, this line's quite busy this morning, isn't it? We've just had an 87 go by, and now we've got this beautiful class 40 pulling some carriages, some passenger carriages here. Right, so we're veering off to the left. Now we've got a speed limit of 15 coming up. Remember, we're on a descent, so we need to drop this speed down quite a bit. So maybe if I pull back off the brake now, that should bring us down to about 15. See how long it takes to set. It's still going back. So that's taken us down to 11, and we're still nowhere near. Oh my God, I've pressed the emergency brake on. Great. Okay. Right. Let's just get the throttle off. Let that reset. It was going quite well then as well. What I did, I'd knocked the bottom front trigger on my controller, and so put the brake on full. Right, we should be able to get going. Well, at least we're not going to overspeed now. Yeah, on when using controller, on the controller I've got on the Xbox, sometimes it can be quite easy to mistakenly press the brake, and I seem to do it more commonly on using the Class 31, my favourite diesel, not. And we're just gonna get it down to 15, are we? Okay. That's 2 emergency stops I've made now by accident. Not in this drive, but in the last video I did the same thing. I think I was going too fast, and it automatically went into emergency mode in I was driving the London commuter. I also spadded in that video as well. Well, in the first take of that video. Okay, so doesn't actually ask you to open the doors. So how they're supposed to load the papers on and off, unless it's not really meant to be doing that, I don't know. But I mean, that would be something cool for them to do, wouldn't it, with these I suppose it's uncalled for on the modern day routes, and it would mean quite a bit of extra kind of I suppose extra burden on the system, on the engine, to bring those type of animations in. Can I open this door? We can have a look inside, can we? Can I get the camera in? No, I'm too fat to get in. Will it let me shut the door though? Is this a wider door maybe? So we can get in now. So I suppose there's no real reason to have to open the doors. What's this little room here? Oh, this would be the brake van, isn't it? Is this the brake van we're in? Is it the last carriage? It does look like a brake van, doesn't it? Oh, we're opening doors and everything here now. Right, let's just get everything closed, Dave. It's open, I know that. It won't let me. I think I've got to close that door first. Yeah. Fair dues. They've gone into detail here, haven't they? So, what? Now this is a parcel, but it's still got like a break. Oh, we're out. Now my camera's gone all funny. But yeah, there's a. So the guards, they can. I'm going to have to do some research, rather than just guess. That needs to be closed first, doesn't it? And that needs to be closed. Right, okay. So, has this chap got a ginger moustache? No. Has this guy got a ginger moustache? Yes. Has this guy? Yes. What is it with ginger moustaches in the 80s? I mean, I'm from the 80s, and he's got a ginger moustache. What? Or I mean, they're not really ginger. Is it something to do with the fact that they've been tangoed? Have they been drinking too much tango? I'm not quite sure. But anyway. So, yeah, she seems to be some kind of ghost. So what else have we got around here? If we just get back in the cab a moment and go to our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, our sort of drone camera, and just have a look around the area, because we've still got 4 minutes. Just zoom in a little bit faster. Now this here, I think this is a water tower. I say it's a water tower because the ladders on this seem fixed, unless it's just basic drawings, but I think this is a water tower, but it does give the resemblance of what this is over here. And this is a gas storage. This is definitely a gas storage, tank or whatever you'd call it. And they were common sites around all of the country. So this upper part, I think, would be filled with water, and would rise or fall depending on the amount of gas that was being stored in the lower section. So we got the sun there, just shining into this lovely calm morning's river. And if we speed along a bit, there's a lovely some morning commuter traffic there. We won't stop the traffic on this particular video. But we've got this lovely little bank here, which sadly must be quite noisy with all this road traffic, but looks like it would be an ideal place to fish from if you're into your fishing. Now, what's quite nice about just trains is, or well, I suppose with any of the routes now, with the new engine and the later routes with the new lighting system they use, they can be more realistic with the way the weather and lighting is brought into the game and adds extra detail, such as onto this church here. So we've got some nice lighting, some morning light from the sun. That's quite a nice shot, isn't it, down the river there? And there's some lovely detailing that goes off into the distance. I'm not going to see how far we can get over that way, but I imagine the detail will become less detailed the further we try to go. I don't want to go too far though. I think that's its limit really, because I don't really want to spoil the illusion. I've never really understood why people want to go out of the map anyway. It's something that happens, that a lot of people do in the game called Call of Duty, or any game really. I say Call of Duty because that's the other game I play. I don't know why I play Call of Duty. I feel my reactions are a little bit too slow now for it, but I haven't given up. I do still play it. So it's nice to see how the sun is shining onto the rest of the town there in the background. It's quite a big place, Lancaster, isn't it? And we've just been given the go-ahead to go. I'm not sure what this castle-looking type of building, maybe it's council offices next to the church. I think the church is called the Priory or St. Mary's. So let's get back into the train. So we did put our brake on. We didn't put our brake on. I'm a bit disgusted with myself. I'm going to put it on now anyway. Oh, but the brake is on. We're in forward and release the brake, which is going to take us forever now. Well, we're never really going to know probably because we've got the loco brake on anyway. We're going to give it a little bit of throttle. We'll take this local brake off. Okay. So we should start rolling now. Yes, we are. So off we go. I'm starting to get a little bit more familiar with it. So our next stop is Carnforth. Carnforth, platform 2. Ooh, we've got to be careful we don't go over speed here, which we already are doing. Add a little bit of brake in there, because it's so sensitive. Let's just have a... oh, we're right over here. Let's just have a quick look. I love the sounds of the... even the sounds of the... you can hear... the sounds of the coaches are really authentic too, aren't they? So we've got a nice bit of that sunshine on the front here. We can start picking up some speed here now. Let's give it some fresh then. The old flag. I feel educated now, I feel educated. and we're going over the river. Okay, right. Now we haven't got very far, we've only got 5 miles. Which is probably a good thing in this disaster making movie. Just double check I've got all of my brake completely released. We're on full throttle. Sorry if I'm making you all dizzy with my swift camera movements. It's just, if you see me doing all of this, it means I'm in a panic. So again, coming into Carnforth, it takes some, if I'm correct in remembering, some caution. We've just gone through a black marker board for the next neutral zone, which pops up just before Carnforth. Now, my mission, my personal mission, because we took a break, my last video was on the London commuter, which is modern day, but prior to that, since release, I've been hammering this route, but just needed a quick break from it. Felt like I needed to do something a little bit different, and oh, there's the sun just over there. That's nice, isn't it? The sun just rising over the top. Yeah, so it's been my personal mission to complete every single to drive every single loco that is timetabled into. Let's just have a look at the sea. It's a nice kind of shot there with the sea. This is the only part in the route we come close to the sea. We got, as usual, I'm very good at picking out sewerage plants. Now I did hear a bell then, so I know we didn't go through a yellow light, but I'm suspecting we may have some yellow lights coming up soon. We've got a 15 mile an hour speed limit in 2 miles. Yeah, so it's my personal mission to drive every single loco that is timetabled. Yeah, look, we've got a yellow. So I've just taken the throttle right off. Sorry, you can't see very well. I suppose I could keep it dipped like this, so you can see what mistakes I'm making. And we're coming down to 15, so I need to... I'm going to put 40% brake on. Maybe a little bit more, to be honest. Can we see the next signal? Oh, it's going to be at least yellow. If it's red, we're in massive trouble. How much brake have I put on? 75, 80. Now it is a yellow, so I feel I can take this brake off. But I'm hoping it doesn't... Come on, reset. Good God. It's taking us right down. I'm going to put some throttle in anyway, because I don't want to come to a complete standstill. So I've just put a little bit of throttle in there. Because my understanding is you're not really meant to put any throttle in until that needle at least gets to the 0. I might be wrong, I don't know, but I'm sure that was the general rule, because you're just putting more stress on the mechanics of the train. So, you know, you're not going to be very popular amongst the mechanics. Oh, here's that Dave again, the one who keeps notice how we need to maintain all the diesels more often because of Dave's driving. Right, I think this is a red ahead of us, so we need to stop. It's certainly not going to change anyway. Oh, it has, just at the last moment there, just when it's going to bring me to a stop. Thank you, much appreciated. Very well done. A little bit more kind of expert driving from an expert. I've noticed the acceleration on this is pretty rapid too. I mean, we're not pulling much anyway, and considering we have had a look inside the carriages, they are pretty empty. I mean, we're not even carrying in any people. So we're as good as pulling a engine only, really. Yeah, so there we go. Some nice light. So our speed limit is about to be 10, and so I'm going to take the throttle right off here. And hope that it doesn't, because we are going downhill, maybe I should just give it a little bit of brake, just in case it tries to sneak us over. It's a very concrete looking, bland station, isn't it? From over here anyway. I mean, over there, that building there looks a little bit more kind of, you know, older looking. I'm surprised there's no graffiti. Oh, there, look, there's a thing there we could update. Right, so we need to stop in a moment. Well, I couldn't get more spot on with that stop, could I? I'm quite pleased with that stop. Yes. So we just have to wait here now. I don't know for how long. But I tell you what we'll do is, because they don't trust me to drive this any further, they're letting that other guy in instead. So We speeded a couple of times at Lancaster, didn't we? But we arrived. We were due. Oh, we were 3 minutes late, were we? And a couple of minutes late at Carnforth as well. Okay. Return to free mode. Right, so we can't go any further from here. So let's leave this experienced driver to it. And I'd like us to do a little bit of exploring while we're here. Actually, there's a couple of things I'd like to show you while we're here. Now then, some of you may already know this, so I can hear a Class 87 coming. Sounds like it's coming from that direction. Oh yeah, it is. It's on that over there. Just see its shadow through there. So yeah. So I'm going to stop here now. I didn't know this. I just picked it up yesterday by accident by doing a little bit of research on this area, and apparently this clock that I'm looking at here is very famous. I hope it is the right clock, because there is something that does give me some slight doubt about it, and I'll tell you what that is in a moment. But this clock here is very famous, and it's very famous in the film world. Can you name what film it is from? Well, if you don't know, I'll tell you now. It's from the film Brief Encounter, and apparently it appears towards, I don't know if it's the end of the film. I haven't seen the film. I can't say I've seen it, or it's been a long time ago when I did. But it signifies a prominent part of the film when the couple, I think it's a man and a woman, are departing each other, and so the clock plays part of that symbolism, and so therefore this clock is famous from that film. Now, my only doubt about it, but I think it, checking from photographs, this is where the clock is, but the doubt is the name on the clock is different from what it is on the photographs, and the only reason I think for that is our parcels train's gone without us. The only reason why that is, I think, is probably because something to do with copyright of the clock. Or is there another reason? You tell me. So, where are we going to go now? Is this a dead end? Is it? Now, what I'd like us to do is, if we can get there, is to get to the other side, because I wanted to show you something else. Gosh, those signals are quite low, aren't they? I wanted to have a look at something else while we're here. I don't know if is that sand? Looks more like grit to me. I don't know if that is used for drying sand, but it looks like anyway, what I want us to do is to go over there, but the easiest way to get there is if I just get inside this Class 47. So if we just hop in and close this door, just get in this seater moment and just say, get started, and then just go over to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pop over to our drone camera. We've got a couple of 101s waiting here for their duties for later in the day. But I just wanted to take you over to something I've discovered since a previous video. We stopped here before during one of my previous videos, and we had to do a little bit of waiting. And well, I don't know why we're going so slow. Let's just speed things up a little bit. I was trying to guess what these structures were actually used for. And I don't think I was far wrong from my guess. Well, actually, I was very wrong. I thought they were just used for filling hoppers, you know, with like coal or some other, some other product. But this here, I did mention about this water tower, and as you can see, there is water in it, and it is a water tower, and it was used during the steam era for filling the steam engines with their necessary need for water. Now, this main structure here was used for filling the loco. The steam engine would park. Would park underneath here, and as you can see, there's a couple of chutes. There's a chute here, and the coal would drop through this chute into the locomotive's tender, so it'd fill it up. So this was used basically for filling up the steam engines. So I imagine you would get a train coming along here pulling coal wagons, and the coal wagon would stop here, and then this contraption would then pulley the coal up into the top of here. Don't know if we can get in there. Don't know if it'll allow us. No, it doesn't want to, but you can see some pulleys there, and then the coal would be dropped down the chute and into the loco. And this one was used for the removal of the ash, because obviously there would be ash in the trains, in the steam trains, that is, anyway. And so I'm not quite sure how it actually operated or how this worked. So I can't give you a description for that, I'm afraid, or an explanation, but it was used for emptying the ash from the train. And there was another contraption, but I'm assuming it's missing from here, unless it was that thing I pointed out over there somewhere in that other yard. But that's it there. I am having some doubt over it. Is that a turntable? Look, we got a turntable here. I didn't notice that before. Wouldn't that be good if it actually worked? Does it work? There's a lever on it. I'm sure it would highlight, wouldn't it, if because of course turntables were more in need in those days to turn the loco around. But that looks like that it's coal inside there, doesn't it? It's definitely not sand or old tar. I mean, that looks like old tarmac there. But apparently there was a third chute which was used for drying out the sand, because obviously sand is still used in today's trains for helping the train to slow down or gather to help us, well, basically help the train to slow down. Haven't been in this signal box yet. Certainly very interesting. I'm not going to touch anything. Wow. I wonder if that's... I don't think it's live, is it? Everything's on yellow. So there you have it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the journey and the extra little bit of educational information at the end there. I hope you found it helpful. Apologies that the... I can hear class 20. Oh no, that's class 40. And what is it pulling? That's a parcel train too. Yes, so thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. We've ticked another loco off our list. Perhaps not our best impressive one, but hopefully you'll let me off. And there we go. So, shall we end up on finishing with our brief encounter clock? So, thanks very much. Look forward to seeing you on the next one, and goodbye.